everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to give you my October anticipated releases. So I spent a lot of free time browsing on NetGalley and browsing on different places to see what's coming out next. Not necessarily because I'm going to read it right away, but just because I want to know what's coming up. So here is what I'm excited for in the month of October. So on October 3rd, there's The Family Home by Miranda Smith. So this girl wakes up and there's a dead man in her apartment. She has no idea what happened, anything, and her husband are the only ones with access to this family home. So we don't know why, what happened. She doesn't want the police digging into her past. We don't know why, so hopefully it's a good thriller. Then on October 4th, there's quite a few different things coming out. A Cat Cafe Christmas by Codi Gary. And it says it's an opposites attract romance about the 3 C's, Christmas, coffee, and cats. And I just think that sounds so cozy, another C. I'm not a huge cat person, but coffee, Christmas, and pets, I'm for it. So I'm excited to read that romance. Next is Home Sweet Christmas by Susan Mallery. So Susan Mallery is like a go-to romance women's fiction author that she really can't do anything wrong. And this is number 2 in her Wishing Tree series. And I haven't read any of the Wishing Tree series. I don't think you have to. I think it's just a town, so everything takes place in the same town. But this is about it's 2 stories, I think, about a woman who goes back to her hometown to take care of her twin sisters because something's going on in her life, and she ends up like falling for a guy maybe. The other is about a young girl who was crowned Snow Queen, and I just think like the whole idea of this town having like a pageant for the winter and having a Snow Queen is kind of intriguing. So like I said, Susan Mallery, I know I like her writing style, so I can't wait to give that one a shot. Next is Mad Money by Jodi Picoult. So I'm a big Jodi Picoult fan. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that this is coming out, and I'm so excited for it. So it's actually Jodi Picoult and Finney Boylan. And this is about a woman whose life falls apart. So she goes back to her hometown and takes over her father's beekeeping business. And I don't think I've ever read a book about like beekeepers or anything. So then there's a young girl who moves into town with her mom, and she starts dating the beekeeper's son. So this woman, her life falls apart. She's got like a teenage son. This other woman and her daughter move into town. The kids start dating, and then the girl is found dead. And the son is obviously a prime suspect. So it's told from the mother's perspective, and I just think it's going to be so interesting. Next is Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. And I've read another book by Catherine Walsh and thought it was all right. But this one is 2 friends trying to get home for Christmas, like back to Ireland. And she is the Scrooge and he's like Mr. Christmas. And so she like makes it her mission to get him home for his mom's Christmas. And it kind of gives me vibes of like I'll Be Home for Christmas with Jonathan Taylor Thomas. If you remember that movie, it was one of my favorites. It is one of my favorites. And so it kind of gives me those vibes. And Irish people, I mean, it sounds fun. Next is October 10th, The ExWives by Jenna, Kernan, I think is her name. So this woman is married. Her husband's kind of controlling, and she finds out that he has been married twice before. So she reaches out to these ex-wives and finds out that they're kind of like scared of him, and that as soon as they left him, their daughters went missing. So she has a daughter, and she like wants to leave, but is her daughter going to be safe? And what do you do? So that sounds super like scary and stressful, because being in an abusive relationship is not a good situation, but risking your daughter is also not a good situation. It sounds stressful. Next is October 11th, Before I Do by Sophie Cousens. So Sophie Cousens wrote This Time Next Year, and I liked that book. It was a cute like New Year's Day romance. And this one it says, what would you do if the one that got away turned up the night before your wedding? Boom, boom, boom. So sounds good. I love that like one who got away trope. So I'm excited to see what she does with it. Next is October 13th, The Choice by P.D. Veneer maybe? I have never heard of this author, but this is about 2 people, Sarah and Theo. They go on their first weekend away. They're a couple. They go on their first weekend away, and she kills him because she doesn't have a choice. And I don't know what that's about. It's something that's buried in her past. So she has to like face the truth and find the truth about what happened in the past to protect herself today. I don't know. It just sounds really intriguing. Next is October 18th. Paris Daillencourt is About to Crumble by Alexis Hall. So Alexis Hall obviously wrote Boyfriend Material. Everyone knows him from that. But he also writes this Winner Bakes All series. And the first one was Rosaline Palmer Takes the Cake, I believe. And I liked that one. And this one sounds really good too. So this is about kind of an insecure guy. He gets entered by his roommate, I think, into a baking show or a cooking show. And he meets up with this like super confident guy that maybe brings him out of his shell. I don't really know. We'll see. So also on the 18th is Keep It in the Family by John Mars. John Mars, I have read the one, and that might, I can't remember the name of the other one, but I've really liked both of the books that I've read from him. I have not read The Passengers, but I've liked what I've read from him. So this one is about a young couple that's just newly pregnant, move into this house, and there's weird things in the attic. So she discovers her house, like their house has been kind of a house of horrors. That's from the back of the book. I don't know what a house of horrors necessarily means, but in the attic, and she starts to realize, like, she becomes kind of obsessed with what's happened in the past and realizes they're not necessarily safe today. So sounds intriguing. October 21st, Christmas in Paris by Tilly Tennant. So Tilly Tennant is like a classic women's fiction author. She is British, I believe. And she like has the cutest covers ever. And so like I don't even really care what this book is about. I want to read it because it's cute. But this is about this girl who like tries to, I think she maybe ends a relationship, gets broken up with something, goes to Paris to just kind of spend time by herself, kind of escape. And of course she decides to have a no strings attached relationship. And I'm assuming it turns into more. And then last is October 25th, The Inn at Tansy Falls by Kate Wood. So this one sounds really interesting to me. It's the start of a new series, and it's about a best friend, a woman, writes a letter, I think, to her best friend, sent like because she's about to die. And she says, take me back to Tansy Falls, which is a small town. They're city people. And she says, take me back to Tansy Falls and stay there for 2 weeks. And here's a bucket list for you to do while you're there. So kind of the P.S. I love you vibes, that kind of like bucket list from beyond thing. But I'm sure our main character will learn a lot, and I'm sure it'll be emotional. And yeah, I'm excited for it. So hopefully you guys discovered something new that you maybe didn't necessarily have on your radar. And then there's a couple. Jodi Picoult has a new one. John Mars. Those are some big names. So let me know what you are looking forward to in October, or out of this list, what you're looking the most forward to. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.